Hello, we're just going to have a quick run around and just mention plants. Fuchsia White Knight's Pearl. I like the fuchsias to be, it's only planted about 3 months, I like them to be a reasonable size in the garden. I think that's going to be a good one. Variegated fuchsia, Versicolor, very hard to beat. This is a dark leafed Astilbe, but unfortunately, as you can see, flowers are a bit wishy-washy. Geranium wallichianums, self-seed, and there's the original, which is better. The original was blue and it's self-seeded to this, but for cover in shade it's really good and very long flowering. Of course, the Persicaria we have everywhere. This is orange field. That's to come up. That's a white Achillea, which I found somewhere, tried it out, but that's just to come up. And we'll replace it with something else. This is the earliest Crocosmia that flowers for us. It's called Paul's Best Yellow. And whoever Paul was, he's very good taste in Crocosmias. That's a super Crocosmia. Another Astilbe. This is called Colour Flash, and these Astilbes, these particular Astilbes, are very good for ground cover. They're not quite as showy as the Japanese, the arendsii types, but they are better overall in the garden as a garden plant. Variegated Molinia. I'm not mad on variegated stuff, but that's particularly good. And look at this here. That's a Lamium, and I found that needs really shady conditions to do anything. And you can, of course, you can never go wrong with the jerseys for contrast. This one fell over last year, so we cut it back. You can actually see where we cut it back this year. There's the cut end right in there. And so it flowers are lower level and it doesn't fall over. Big tall Sanguisorbas. This one. And this one. And my thing with Sanguisorbas is always, will they flop? If they flop, I don't want them. Will they stay upright? The Astermanch is starting to flower, and that will flower right until the end of September. And look at our lovely white buddleia. Now, the thing about white buddleias is that the great thing about the white buddleia is that they show off the butterflies better. See the butterfly on it? But what you need to do with white buddleias is deadhead. Let's see. Can we get in here? No, look at that nice hosta in here. Forgotten which one it is. No. That's better. I've actually noticed about butterflies is they don't really like their photographs taken. As soon as you put a camera near the butterfly, they go off, you know, that's the truth. Very hard to photograph them up close because they just go. Quite shy. We did a video on this early on in the year where we totally butchered it, completely and totally hockeyed it right down, and this is what we got as a result. So there you go. We have Amazing Grace. In my opinion, the best red-leafed shrub there is, Cotinus Amazing Grace, if you have the space for it. Plant Grace if you have the space. Now, why is it better than Japanese maples? And the reason is very simple. Japanese maple comes out in the spring, has lovely fresh leaves, but over the summer you might get a little bit of regrowth, but they get a bit tired. This never stops growing, so it's always fresh the whole time, and as a result it can grow too strongly because it never stops growing. But this is what you get, that gorgeous lightness of colour. Amazing Grace. We mentioned these in the last video. The Persicarias, and the thing, these Persicarias that I'm going after now is ones with the smaller leaves, not the big ones, the large leaves, because they're too strong in air-rich soils. I'm going for the ones with the tighter leaves. The double sunflower, and that's one called Loddon Gold. Very reliable, they come up every year, and some people think that they're yellow dahlias. Alstroemerias, and this is what you do: lift and twist, twist or twist and lift for the old seed heads. Remove them. There, they come below the ground. And 10 minutes work. This Geranium and Thompson, and you can see that secondary ones are coming out. What you could do, if you wanted to, you could cut all this away and allow the new ones to come on, or just leave it. I'm just going to leave it. Morning Sun, and here we have Stachys officinalis, a former Stachys officinalis, which is a good medicinal plant in the olden days. People used it for lots of different reasons. And behind we have the Astilbe chinensis, one of the taller Astilbe chinensis. And Astilbe chinensis are, I just love Astilbe chinensis because, a bit like the colour Astilbe colour flash, they run at the root and they form lovely swathes, and they fill in really well, so you don't get dots with other dots of plants. The whole thing is one. And they're pink and pink. There's that purple, that's sort of purple pink, and there's pink. And Geranium wallichianum, and of course the Persicarias I love, and the Joe Pye Weed behind, just coming in. The Joe Pye Weed is great, but the clue of Joe Pye Weed is in the name weed. You have to be careful with Joe Pye Weed because it can take over. And this is a form of Geranium roseanne that sort of has lost most of its colouring. It's like bleached. But it's okay, some people like it, some people don't like it. And what else have we? Have our herbaceous border, or not herbaceous border, well I suppose it is a herbaceous border. It's people call it a prairie garden, a prairie border. We had to do a large cutback and that Solidago about 3 weeks ago, which is far too late because it would have flopped, and we just got it in time. You wouldn't realise there's about 40% of that removed, but if we hadn't done that, the whole lot would have ended up flop. And once it goes down, you're finished. You lose the nice loose look. And we finish off with a white Joe Pye Weed, which I found over there. Don't know where it came from, and I planted it to here, a piece of it to here. And by the way, these are coming out. These were Stachys, and this is how tall they grew to. So I'm sorry lads, have to go. What we do is we just put a few of these, a few more Rebecca's to fill in. You know, you try it, it works, you try it, it doesn't work. But look at this. You can imagine next year when it's twice the size. I put it in fairly late, but if that next year, and the flower heads are white and they're that size. So I have great hopes for this particular plant next year. Okay, that's enough. Well, we could go on for another hour, but if you look around here, you can see there's lots of stuff on flower. But I think we've shown enough for the time being.